What started as a small passion project has grown into a vibrant, creative, entrepreneurial venture of turning simple yarn into meaningful toys and collectibles. From adorable crochet animals to imaginative, one-of-a-kind creations, Reincraftnation brings joy to life one stitch at a time. Joining us today is the talented founder of Reincraftnation, Angie Dupont. Hi, Ange.
Hi.
So Reincraftnation, it's a beautiful name. Thank you. Can you tell us more about how you started with your business? But maybe starting with what is behind the name?
So behind the name is it's meant to be a play on reincarnation. So taking a material and giving it new life. So Reincraftnation, crafting it into something new.
That's beautiful.
And
yes.
When I first started, it was a lot of, and I still do try wherever possible to use recycled materials or eco-friendly materials. So that's how we got started with the name.
And when was this? When did you start crocheting? As a hobby to start with, right?
Not really. It was a class in high school.
Way back in high school.
Way back in high school. When I was 16, there was an international arts and crafts class. And so each week we did a different thing. We'd do sculpting, the Mexican Day of the Dead figures, and we would do just from different places. And so we did crochet, and we learned how to make a granny square. And
which is the basic.
Yeah, one of these things. So it's the building block. We actually are releasing a kit that has the granny square in it. So that's why that's there. But it's the building block of everything. But I didn't know how to finish them or join them or do anything. I just knew how to make a granny square. So for about 10 years afterwards, I just kept making a blanket that was a giant granny square until it was big enough to fit a bed.
From the small square to it got bigger and bigger.
Yeah, so that's what I did. And I made
right now,
blankets like that. And then I have two boys, and they started wanting really ridiculously rare or obscure creatures. And so I started making them, and now they're off and in their college years, so we make them and sell them now. So
right, and from blankets to lovely animals right here. So you mentioned, Ange, that the building block of crocheting is the granny square.
Yes.
Right, the granny square. And what materials do we need to start, aside from the yarn? And are there different kinds of yarns?
There are different kinds of yarn. So some of them are made out of different materials. Like this one that you're holding in your hand here is an acrylic yarn. Whereas this one that I have here, this is made out of a Chanel yarn, which is made out of polyester.
Polyester. So what's the difference?
They're different polymers, but the main difference is that one is worsted. So it's two strands and they're twisted around each other so that you get a continuous strand. This one here, it's actually two threads and thousands of little fluffy points that they've cut off.
So is there a better yarn for a specific item? For example, for, I don't know, maybe blankets or sweaters versus toys?
Well, if I was going to do blanket or clothing, a lot of the time I might use a natural fiber, like a cotton or a wool. They're a bit more expensive, but if I was going to do something that I wanted for warmth or durability, I would use that. For starting, the best one you're going to find is an acrylic yarn.
Yarn.
You can really, really see the stitches in this one, where you can actually see that there's individual stitches, whereas this one, it's much more difficult to count your stitches.
Right. And so for beginners, you recommend the acrylic yarn.
An acrylic or worsted yarn, but acrylic is usually more, you can use it and you're not so worried about the cost if it goes wrong or if it splits or something. So acrylic is usually the best.
And what do we have here? So for the hooks, I'm seeing different kinds.
Yes, there's many different kinds. This is the basic that most people will start with. It's just a simple metal hook, and the size does matter. This is a 4mm, so this is what we put in our kits to make these bumblebees. And the granny squares. They both have a 4mm hook. But this is also a 4mm hook. This one is a brushed aluminum and has a slightly different handle. And so if you hold this one and you hold one of these, this is also a 4mm hook. And you'll see they're quite different.
Yes.
So one is weighted. It's just the way it's balanced.
It's bigger.
Exactly. The neck is different, and they're both the exact same size, but they work for different people. So depending on how you hold your hook how your hand is. Some people hold it under or over, and that is the biggest problem when people buy crochet kits, is there's no instruction on what kind of hook you should use. And so people end up with just the simple one, and they can't figure it out, and their yarn splits, and they give up and say, I can't crochet.
But then along the way, right, like as you get better, then you tend to go like, oh, I think I have more choices, and then know like what fits your crocheting style. So is there like a specific hook for toys, for example? Like these are beautiful toys, or you just go like, could be any hook?
It really depends on the yarn you're using. So for something like that, I would use a 6 or a 6.5, and I use one of these. And it really depends on the day. I have lupus, and sometimes my joints don't work right. So if I'm going to go over, I'll use this one, and if I'm holding it this way, I'll use this one.
A different one. Okay.
But many people don't go back and forth. They just hold it the one way. So they would use one or the other.
Do you teach or do you do workshops?
We don't yet, but in the new year, we're hoping to start a crochet clinic where people can drop in for the first hour, and if there's a problem, and then the second hour would just be more of a social.
That's lovely, crochet clinic.
Yes.
It's the first time to hear that, but looking forward to that. And so what is the name of this cute animal or pet? Pet toy.
I love anything that has a pun to it. So this one is called Frenchy Toast.
Frenchy Toast, and this is supposed
French
to be
bulldog that looks like French toast.
Cute, that's cute. So all of our creations have names, right? Most
Some of them do.
Yes.
A lot of them we give different names because it's easier for John and I to reference. So these are our tiny dinies.
Tiny dinies, that's so cute. The dino, and this one is?
An itty bitty kitty.
Which is a cat.
Yes.
A cat, yeah. They are so cute. So Reincraftnation, you've been doing pop-up markets also with AWEC and even with other pop-up markets here in Kingston. And so where else can we find you, like if people would want to purchase your toys?
We have our stuff full-time in Minotaur, downtown, Minotaur Gifts.
It's a beautiful shop there, yeah.
It is, yeah. And
lots of things that you can.
O2 Oxygen Bar in Trenton, where they've been trying to get our stuff. We've been working with them, and we're going to be, hopefully for the Christmas season, have our stuff in there. And they can also find us online. Yes, we do have a website, www.reincraftnation.com. And that takes you basically to our Facebook site, which we're pretty quick at messaging back on there. If people want orders.
What makes Reincraftnation unique from the other, crochet toys out there in the market?
One, I'm very good at shopping for materials, so we can keep our costs pretty low. Also doing it for a significant amount of time, I'm pretty quick with them, so our costs are a bit lower. But the main thing is that we try to make it so it doesn't stop when you just buy it. So if you buy a plushie and you bring it home, it's nice, you put it up on a shelf, and that's what you do with it, or it gets tossed on the bed. We try to make it an experience. So everything that I make comes with an adoption certificate or a contract or something with it. They all come with their own home or carrier. We try to make it an experience with people, or like our Build-A-Birbs, which are Birb, B-I-R-B, it's not a typo.
So they're birds, but they're just Birb.
We call them Birbs.
Birbs,
because they're our little Birbs, and we call our bigger Birbs Borbs. So but I always get asked about that if it's a typo, but we accessorize them. So you get your bird, and then you personalize it in a way so that it's personalized to you. And we put a lot of detail into our packaging, and everything that I do, I try to make it something I would want to give my own child.
Very personalized and highly interactive. That's innovation right there. Angie Dupont, thank you so much for joining us here in your local show, and all the best with Reincraftnation.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ange.